I found out my dad has a secret second family. I don't know what to do. I wouldn't have found it if my dad hadn't had that damn heart attack. He's fine now, stable, back home, eating low-sodium soup and grumbling about everything tasting like cardboard. But while he was in the hospital, my mom kind of unraveled. Not in a dramatic way, but she cried quietly while doing dishes, forgot to feed the dog, stuff like that. So I offered to help out, run errands, whatever she needed. That's how I ended up cleaning out his closet, because apparently, he's been hoarding old papers like a squirrel in winter. It was supposed to be a simple job. Toss old socks, maybe box up some out-of-style jackets he never wears. But then I spotted this wooden box, tucked behind an old briefcase, way up on the top shelf. No lock. Just dusty and oddly intentional. Like it had been placed there on purpose, to be forgotten but not really hidden. Inside were letters. Handwritten. Some yellowed, some newer. And photos. Polaroids, even. One showed my dad on a beach I didn't recognize, holding hands with a woman who definitely wasn't my mom. Another had 2 kids, maybe 6 and 8, posing with him in front of a Christmas tree. I sat on the floor just staring, heart thudding like I'd accidentally opened a stranger's mail. There were drawings too. To Daddy written in crooked kid letters. One said Happy Birthday Daddy. We love you, with 2 stick figures labeled me, Amy, and Zach. I'm an only child. I don't even know how long I sat there, holding that box. The weirdest part? It wasn't even recent stuff. The photos went back years. Some as recent as last fall. That's when it hit me, this wasn't a fling. This was something else. I carefully packed it all back, shoved it behind the briefcase again, and closed the closet door like it might explode. My hands were shaking. My brain was already running wild. Was this an affair? A phase? Or was my dad living a double life? That night, I couldn't look him in the eyes when he asked me to pass the salt. I just mumbled something and left the table. Now I can't sleep. The box is all I can think about. I haven't told my mom. I haven't told anyone. I'm stuck in this sick secret I didn't ask to find. And I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do next. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept replaying the photos in my head, my dad smiling with those kids like he was their whole world. I kept thinking about that one birthday card, to the best dad in the world. In pink marker. With little hearts. I thought maybe I had overreacted. Maybe it was just an affair from years ago, and he stayed in touch with the kids out of guilt or something. People make mistakes, right? But then why were the photos so recent? I needed more than a few pictures and old birthday cards. I needed to know what I was looking at. So, yeah, I went back into the closet. This time I brought my phone. I took pictures of the letters, the photos, anything with a date or address. It felt wrong. It was wrong. But at that point, I was in too deep to stop. That's when I found it. Tucked in the back of the box was a little envelope, stuffed with receipts. Hotel stays. Uber rides. A couple of Amazon gift cards. And most important, a folded-up piece of paper with an address scrawled in my dad's handwriting. No name. Just a random street in a suburb about 30 minutes from us. At that point, I was shaking so bad I had to sit down again. I didn't even want to go, but I couldn't not. You ever have that moment where curiosity turns into dread but you still walk toward it anyway? That was me, the next morning, sitting in my car outside a beige townhouse with a red door. I told myself I was just going to drive by. That's it. Just see if the address was even legit. But then the door opened. A woman stepped out. Mid-30s, maybe early 40s, curly brown hair in a messy bun. She was wearing sweatpants and holding a toddler on her hip while yelling something back into the house like, "Zach, don't forget your lunch." And then he came out. A kid. Couldn't have been older than 10. Tall for his age. Glasses. Backpack slung over one shoulder. And this is the part that nearly made me slam on the gas and peel away. He looked just like me when I was that age. Same face. Same dark hair. Same serious eyebrows I always hated in school photos. I couldn't breathe. They got into a silver SUV and drove off. I stayed there in my car, frozen, gripping the steering wheel like it was keeping me tethered to earth. Because I didn't just find a second family. I found siblings. Half-siblings. Living a life my dad had somehow kept completely secret. And they didn't look miserable or abandoned. They looked normal. Happy, even. So now I'm sitting on this grenade, and I don't know whether to throw it or bury it. I didn't mean to talk to them. That's the first thing I need to say. I really didn't. The plan was to drive by, verify, and leave. But something shifted in me after seeing that kid, the one who looked like my childhood mirror. I couldn't stop picturing that drawing in the box. Amy and Zach. They weren't just theoretical anymore. They were real. And I guess, deep down, I just needed, what? Closure? Proof? Validation that I wasn't losing my mind? So I went back. A week later, on a Wednesday morning when I knew my parents would be out at my dad's cardiology checkup, I called in sick to work and drove back to the townhouse. I rehearsed a whole lie in the car, something about a delivery mix-up or needing directions. It was flimsy, but I was desperate. I knocked. She answered the door holding a coffee mug and looking suspicious but polite. I froze. Every word in my brain dissolved into static. Then she smiled cautiously and said, "Can I help you?" I think I might know your husband, I blurted, immediately hating myself for it. She tilted her head, confused. I'm not married. Oh. I blinked, trying to recover. Oh, sorry, I mean, the kid's dad. I work with someone I think lives here part-time? It was the worst improv in history. But she didn't seem alarmed, just a little guarded. You mean Daniel? She asked. My dad's middle name. No one calls him that except my mom when she's mad. I think so. Tall guy? Gray at the temples, kind of sarcastic? She smiled. Yep. That's him. Why? Is he okay? I swallowed. He had a health thing recently. He's all right. Sorry, I'm being weird. It's complicated. There was a long pause. Then she stepped outside, pulling the door almost closed behind her. Did he send you? She asked quietly. I shook my head. No. He doesn't know I'm here. Something passed over her face. Something like understanding. We talked for maybe 15 minutes. Her name's Rachel. She's been with my dad for over a decade. Said he travels a lot for work, but he's always been good to her and the kids. Never missed a birthday. Paid for their summer camps, their braces. She thinks he has an apartment downtown, has never questioned it. Why would she? She has no idea about my mom. About me. And I didn't tell her. I left before the kids got home from school. She waved and said, "Tell Daniel to call me, if you see him." Like I was some kind of messenger. I nodded and got in my car and didn't say a word. I drove home and sat in the driveway for a full hour before going inside. My dad was napping on the couch. I watched him for a second, this man who taught me how to ride a bike, who made dad jokes about everything, who once drove 4 hours just to drop off my laptop charger in college. And I hated him a little bit. I haven't said anything yet. To him. To my mom. To anyone. But it's coming. I finally cracked. It happened 2 days after the visit to Rachel's house. I couldn't keep pretending everything was normal, because it wasn't. Every time I looked at my dad, I saw the lie. Every time I talked to my mom, I felt like I was betraying her just by existing in the same room. The weight of it was eating me alive. So I waited until Mom went to the grocery store. Just me and Dad, post-nap, in the living room. He was watching some home improvement show on mute while scrolling through his iPad, like the world was just chugging along and nothing was on fire. I sat down on the opposite couch. My hands were shaking. He looked up and gave me a lazy smile. "What's up, champ?" I said. "Who are Amy and Zach?" His face didn't change at first. It was weird. It was like his brain took an extra second to register what I'd said. But when it hit hard. He went pale. Actually pale. Like all the blood ran out of his face at once. Where did you hear those names?" he asked, voice low. "I saw the box," I said. "In your closet. I saw the photos. The letters. I went to the house, Dad." He looked like he was going to pass out. I thought he'd yell. Deny. Make up some ridiculous excuse. But he just crumbled. Right there on the couch, in his ratty slippers, he started crying. Not sniffly, movie tear stuff. Like real, messy sobbing. The kind of crying you only see when someone breaks down for the first time in years. I didn't know what to do. I've never seen my dad cry like that. Not when his own father died. Not when I moved out. Not ever. He kept saying, "I never meant for it to go on this long, and it just happened, and I thought I could keep it separate." Separat. As if having an entire second family was something you could neatly file away in another drawer of your life. I asked him how. When? Why? He met Rachel 12 years ago. They were both volunteering at some city event. One thing led to another. He said it started as an escape, something stupid, temporary. Then she got pregnant. And instead of doing the right thing or the honest thing, he tried to do everything. Be two people in two lives. He said he thought he was protecting everyone. I said, "You've been lying to us for over a decade. You weren't protecting anyone. You were just afraid." He didn't argue. Then he said something that really messed me up: if I had to pick just one life. I couldn't do it. I love all of you. I sat there in stunned silence, because what the hell do you even say to that? Eventually, I got up and left the room. He didn't stop me. He just sat there, crying quietly into his hands while the muted TV played some guy hammering drywall in the background. Now I'm sitting in my room. My mom just got home. She's humming to herself while unpacking groceries. She doesn't know that her entire marriage is a lie. I'm the only one who knows. And I feel like I'm holding a live grenade in my chest. You ever feel like your whole house is made of glass, and you're just walking around praying no one throws a rock? That's what it's been like for the past week. After the breakdown, nothing really changed on the surface. My dad and I haven't talked about it again. Not once. We coexist in this weird, quiet tension, like roommates after a fight neither wants to acknowledge. He's still recovering from the heart attack, still going through the motions, watching TV, reading the paper, asking my mom about dinner like he's not living on the edge of an exposed lie. My mom is completely in the dark. Still humming while cooking, still doting on him like he's the world's most devoted husband. I can barely look at her without my stomach twisting into knots. I don't even know what's worse, the guilt from not telling her or the fear of what happens when I do. And me? I've gone full zombie mode. I avoid being home when I can. I work late. I drive around aimlessly just to think. I sit in parking lots watching other people go about their lives like they're not imploding inside. When I am home, I fake it. I eat dinner. I say goodnight. I nod when spoken to. But I haven't really felt anything in days except this dull, constant anxiety humming in my chest. My friends think I've just been busy. I told one of them I was dealing with family stuff, and they offered to send me memes. I didn't even correct them. How do you even begin to say, "Yeah, my dad has a whole other family with 2 kids and a woman who thinks she's a single mom, and I'm the only one who knows because I found his secret box of receipts and birthday cards"? The worst part? I started dreaming about them. Amy and Zach. In one dream, we're all at a picnic. I'm sitting with them and Rachel on a blanket, and my dad's flipping burgers on a grill, grinning like he's not a living contradiction. Then my mom walks up holding lemonade, and everything starts to glitch like I'm in some warped reality and everyone's smiling but no one knows the truth but me. I wake up drenched in sweat. I tried journaling. That made it worse. I just ended up staring at the words "tell mom" over and over again until the page felt like it was screaming at me. My dad walks around like nothing happened. No sign of guilt. No mention of Rachel or the kids. Just his regular dad jokes and weak coffee. I honestly don't know if he's compartmentalizing or if he just expects me to bury this with him. But I can't. Not forever. Something's going to break. I can feel it. It finally came to a head on a Sunday afternoon, the kind of calm, sunny day that makes the chaos in your life feel even more surreal. My mom was out in the backyard weeding the garden, humming along to some oldies playlist. My dad was watching golf on the living room TV, acting like we weren't both holding live wires in our hands. I sat down across from him and turned the TV off. He didn't even flinch. "We can't keep doing this," I said. He stared at the blank screen, jaw clenched. I figured this was coming. I told him I wasn't going to lie for him. That it was killing me inside, seeing mom fuss over his cholesterol while he snuck off every few weekends to play house with a woman and 2 kids who call him daddy. I said it was cruel, not just to her, but to everyone. He didn't defend himself this time. He just looked tired. Worn down in a way that went beyond his heart condition. "I didn't think it would get this far," he said again, like that was some kind of explanation. "At first, I was going to leave. Years ago. But then your mom got sick, remember? Her surgery? I couldn't walk out then. And then life just kept moving. You kept choosing both lives," I said. "You chose to keep lying." He nodded. I did. I gave him 48 hours. 48 hours to tell my mom the truth. All of it. The affair, the kids, the lies. Or I would. He didn't argue, didn't beg. Just sat back in his chair, rubbing his face like he was trying to erase himself. Later that night, he came into my room and asked if I'd be willing to talk to a therapist with him. Like maybe we could process this together before he told mom. I asked him if he was trying to stall. "No," he said. "I'm trying not to destroy your mother." That made me snap. "You already did. You just haven't let her find out yet." He left the room without another word. The next day passed in slow motion. My mom made pancakes and joked about how she was craving something sweet. My dad ate 3. I couldn't even touch mine. That night, I watched him scroll through his phone with his glasses slipping down his nose. I was waiting, begging, for him to say something. He didn't. This morning, when I woke up, the deadline had passed. No confession. No speech. Just the same fake normal. So I made a decision. I'm telling her. I don't know how I'll say it or where I'll even start. I just know I can't keep swallowing this secret for him anymore. I'm not going to sit back and watch my mom live a lie because he doesn't have the spine to come clean. The grenade is in my hands now. And I'm pulling the pin. It took exactly 6 words to shatter everything. "Mom, we need to talk. Now." I didn't plan a speech. No gentle lead-in, no dramatic reveal. Just raw, messy truth poured out in fragments between gulps of air. I told her about the box. The letters. The kids. Rachel. I told her I'd gone to the house. That they called him Daddy. At first, she just stared at me like I'd spoken in another language. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh, one of those short, sharp, disbelieving ones people make right before they fall apart. I watched the color drain from her face, her hands shaking as she set down the dish she'd been drying. She kept saying no under her breath, over and over, like she could rewind the universe if she said it enough. And then she screamed. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a small, broken sound I will never forget for the rest of my life. My dad walked in halfway through. I'll never know if he heard the scream or just got unlucky with his timing, but there he was, standing in the kitchen doorway like a man realizing his parachute never opened. She didn't ask if it was true. She just looked at him and said, "How long?" He whispered, 12 years. She slapped him. I'd never seen her hit anyone before. She's not that kind of person. But it wasn't rage. It was grief with nowhere to go. What followed was a blur, her yelling, him trying to explain, me standing there frozen like a kid again. He said all the things you'd expect. I never stopped loving you, it was a mistake, I didn't want to hurt anyone. She just kept repeating, 12 years, like it was a curse. That night, she packed a bag and went to stay at her sister's. I wanted to go with her, but she told me to stay. You're not the one who lied, she said. But I need to be away from both of you right now. My dad didn't sleep. I could hear him pacing the house until dawn. By the next morning, Rachel knew too. I didn't tell her, my mom did. She found the number in his phone, under some fake business contact. I don't know what she said, but I got a text from Rachel a few hours later. So you're his son. The first one. I had no idea. I'm sorry you were put in the middle of this. Apparently, Rachel kicked him out of her house too. So now my dad is crashing in a hotel. My mom is with her sister. And I'm here, in a house that feels like a crime scene, wondering if I detonated something that was always going to blow up eventually, or if I'm the one who pulled the trigger too soon. My phone's been silent except for one message from my dad. I know you hate me. But thank you for not letting me keep lying. I was too much of a coward to do what you did. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's been 3 months. The dust hasn't settled, it's just turned into a kind of emotional haze we all walk through, pretending it's air. There's no neat ending to this kind of thing. No dramatic reconciliation, no hallmark forgiveness moment. Just silence. Distance. And the slow, awkward choreography of learning how to exist again. My mom hasn't moved back in. She's renting a tiny 2-bedroom apartment across town. She says she's figuring things out, but I don't think she's coming back. There's a calmness to her now, but it's the kind that comes after something breaks, not because it healed, but because she's done trying to hold it together. She started seeing a therapist. She even joked the other day that her therapist knows more about my dad than he ever did. She's not bitter, just tired. When we talk, it's practical. Bills, insurance stuff, dog food. She thanks me for telling her the truth. But there's a distance now. Like she can't decide if I saved her or ruined her illusion of happiness. Maybe it's both. My dad. I don't really know what to say about him. He's trying. In his own way. He sends these awkward texts, updates about work, the weather, pictures of food he cooked, like that makes up for everything. He says he still sees Amy and Zach, but only when Rachel lets him. Apparently, she's not speaking to him directly, everything goes through text. The kids don't understand. How could they? He asked me to meet them. I haven't yet. I don't know if I can. I'm not mad at the kids. None of this is their fault. But I don't know what I'm supposed to be to them. A brother? A stranger? The guy who helped destroy their home? I keep thinking about that picnic dream I had. How everyone was smiling, but I was the only one who knew it wasn't real. Maybe that's what this whole thing was, an illusion. A perfect little family built on routines and quiet lies. I used to envy people with stable families. Now I realize most stability is just whatever chaos you've agreed not to look at too closely. I still talk to my mom regularly. Less so with my dad. There's a part of me that wants to forgive him, to move forward. But another part of me, something colder, sharper, remembers how he looked me in the eye and said he loved 2 families. Like we were all puzzle pieces he could just rearrange. Sometimes I wish I'd never found the box. But then I remember how my mom's hand shook when she found out, and I know the truth was always going to come out eventually. Maybe not from me. But lies like that don't stay buried forever. Now I just hope we can grow something honest from the wreckage.